So I figured to do an update on my dip tank. Been using it a while. I just put fresh water in, so I mean this is actually really clean for what it normally looks like. So after a little while, I realized I needed to be able to do smaller areas instead of having to do the full length. So I added in this that I can move to different levels, which will let me put smaller things in there, use a little bit less dip. I also played around a little bit on scoops, and like fish nets, they dry and then like you can't use them anymore. So I came up with this, and it's just two Tupperware containers with holes in the bottom, and it just kind of holds a like a microfiber, and then I can use it to scoop out any leftover dip or any dirt or tape or anything like that, and it works pretty good. So that's basically what I've been using. So the tank's at about 80, 79. So I got a piece cut. I'm gonna lay it in, and I'll show you how to do it. Alright, so I have cut the film. Lay it in here. And ideally, you want to get all the air bubbles worked out. So you can lay it mostly flat. You do it for 1 minute. I've switched to using a spray gun for my activator. It does work a lot better. Lock that crease. And get about 30 seconds. Now, when I hit it with activator, it is going to expand a little bit, so it'll actually fill out that box. I mean, this isn't a high-end, this is a DIY dip station, so it's not going to be perfect. Alright, I'm going to set that for 30. And I do have 2 timers, but I don't know the other one's somewhere else. Alright, so you just kind of want to have a little bit of a distance from it. The most important part is that it's evenly hit. You don't want spots with more and spots with less. Grab my part. Another downside to this setup, turn on the exhaust fan there, is the part is kind of bigger than my box, but I gotta do what I gotta do. So. There it is. Pretty good coverage on it. And I find if you go straight to washing all this off, I don't know if the activator that I'm using or something, it's got a bite for a little bit or something, but if you go straight to the wash tank with this, which, I'm just using a sink, but it starts to take some of it off, so I let it sit for a couple minutes and then I wash it, and I get a better luck. As long as you don't scrub too hard, it does pretty good. I'm still figuring out little things, but you know, for doing it myself in the basement, basically. does pretty good. And I'm getting better, so, you know, the more I do, the better I'll get, I'm sure. So you can see all the stuff kind of floating in there. That's where you can just take this and just kind of scoop it up like that. It goes right to the bottom. This works really well, and because it's just microfiber cloth, and then you get a 100-pack of these for a couple bucks. In my case, I use them all the time. If any dirt or anything gets on them, I can't use it for the normal purposes, but it works great for this. So even if I got paint on it, it won't matter. I can just use my leftover microfibers to scoop it all up, and it gets most of it out enough that, you know, it won't be an issue, because I think you gotta remember, unless it's like a big chunk that stops the water from touching the film, it won't really matter. As long as the film gets soaks up the water, and then you can hit it with the activator. Anything between the film and the water won't stick to your product. Once again, the only negative would be if whatever it is, if it's a piece of tape and it stops your film from hitting the water, then it won't work properly. So when you do want it mostly clean, pieces of tape, try to get them out of there. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with it thus far. You know, considering a real tank is like $1,000+ and it would never, I could never get one in this area that I have this in, which is another big part. If I move to a bigger shop, you know, I may invest in a real tank, because if they clean, and if you're doing this professionally and you have the space for it, I think a real tank is better. But for what I'm doing, this fits. It works. I have a top that goes right on top of here, and that's where I spray. You can see on my, scrape that off at some point. But yeah, no, I'm spraying here. I got a 900 CFM fan, exhaust fan with a 8-inch exhaust port to it, so it works. All right, change up the box size a little bit, but should work now. So it's pretty flat. The water's getting to it. All right. Alright, so I got my other timer here, make it easier on me. So it's pretty good so far. $20. I think this whole setup cost me like, I don't know, like $200-300. Something like that. This is just soffit for a house. So if you're going like the like a Home Depot or something, in the back they got like metal stuff that goes around your outside your house. Right there. Yeah, I got a little bubble in here. I'm going to try to hit this. So the bubble is in the middle there. remember, you don't want to go straight in because entrapped air. So that's something I think a lot of guys talk about, but I'll cover it. So when you go in, if you go straight down, you can get possibly air in there that'll mess with stuff. So if you just go at an angle, the air will be forced out from the sides and it'll work better. That's one of the biggest things, especially with what I'm doing, with some odd shaped sizes. Sometimes this isn't so bad, but you got to keep in mind that if you've got an air pocket that you're creating, the dip cannot stick because the air is stuck in there. So keep that in mind when you're dipping and the angles that you choose to go in. What area is more important? I might want to go with that side first and then the other side last. I see a lot of pros, they have to dip, like tape off one side, dip, flip it, then take the other side and dip, and then they hit both sides and dip that way. There's definitely little tricks. So now you can see everything is assembled for this particular light. All the carbon was clear coated and all that stuff after the fact. You see, like I said, in this case, I mean, the only areas that I had that it kind of splotched up was like up in here. So you can't see it because of the way the housing is. So I knew it'd be okay. If it was something that you were going to see, then I would have probably redone it. Well, I mean, I would have redone it. But in this particular housing, I know kind of how it sits, so it works. Paint is definitely not one of my strong suits. I do the best I can with what I got. I'm getting better at it. But definitely something that I have a lot more to learn. But you get a better idea of what I do, how I do it, how I made it work.